1987, Dad and Sue started Big Thunder Marine, and Fran Steingroovy and his son had a little service station at the lake, and they built Shooters 21, and Dad and Fran used to race drag boats together. So they decided they wanted to try to have a drag boat race with these big offshore boats. And they couldn't get that done, but they found out how to have a radar run. And so that's kind of how it started. We came up there, we brought anything, used trade-ins we had from South Florida or Grand Lake. We'd make a couple of passes. Dad won the Top Gun award. I think he went just a little bit over 100 back then, and that's kind of how it progressed. All of our customers that came from all over the country loved Lake of the Ozarks, loved running as fast as they could run for a mile. And I ran some of the marinas boats, then I had my own 28 skater. I got to run that, went over 100 a couple of times, and it kind of exploded just like Big Thunder and the rest of the lake did. Really cool. I definitely have a favorite memory. There's a ton of them back there, and this last week or so I've been thinking about all of them and running up and back to the shootout. Water Patrol wouldn't mess with you. That was as fun as running in the shootout. Yeah, no question, the best memory I ever have is when Dad and I got to race against each other in the side-by-side races. Dad and JT were in the 46-footer with quads. Ernie Dampier and I were in the 43 with twins. And the first cut was gonna be 2 out of 3. So the first couple of passes, we said, we're just gonna kind of take it easy, see how it goes. And then the third one, we're gonna put it on the wood. So I think he won the first one, I won the second one. And then that third one, it was racer to racer. There was no father-son stuff, man. It was racer to racer. I think Ernie and I might have left a little bit early, but we just barely nosed him out at the finish line. He was kind of pissed about that, but it was so, to race those two big boats side by side, the fans loved it. It was great competition, and I'll never forget that my whole life. Matter of fact, some guy that didn't know Dad very well came up after the race and said, "Hey, do you think your dad let you win that last race?" I went, "Oh yeah, I'm sure he did." I'm like, dude, that guy doesn't know Dad at all. It was on the wood, man. So, but by far my best memory of the lake. So there's no question Lake of the Ozarks is set up for this kind of really unparalleled event. Anywhere in the world. I've been lucky enough to race in Key West and Miami with Dad and Jim Lee. Boated my whole life, and I've never been at one place ever that you could have this kind of power and equipment show up. The people are incredible, and all the fans really have a front row seat to an offshore race that even in Key West or any of them, you get to see the boats when they kind of go by once in a while. And the thing that especially makes it so unbelievable is all the stuff that Ron and Mark Mawson and their crews have done, not only for the racers, guys that maybe can't race offshore, but the charities that they've donated to and made it so special. I can't imagine 10, 20, 30 years ago it would ever turn into anything like this. It's got to be the premier boating event, maybe in the world for this type of thing. It's absolutely incredible. This honor means so much to me, one, because it's named for my dad, and two, I know I'm not deserving of it because so many other people have done so much more than I have, but back in the years when we started it, it was so special. We started with Fran Steingroovy. We got to run about anything we took up there, but more than anything, it's just with my dad's name on it, and I'm just glad to be part of Lake of the Ozarks tradition. Yeah, so I was standing down at our lake cabin and Full Circle Boathouse, and Mark Mawson calls me and said, "Are you sitting down?" And the last time Mark called me and told me that, he was calling me from Key West when Dad and JT crashed. And I was like, "I don't know, man. I guess I'm doing okay. What's up?" And he said, "Hey, you're in the Shootout Hall of Fame." I'm like, Jesus. Okay, great. I think that's awesome. And I said, but I thought he was totally kidding. I said, I haven't done anything for 10 years, and before that, after the first 4 or 5 years, I hadn't done anything compared to all these other people. And he said, "Robbie, it's your dad's 10-year anniversary. You've come back, you've moved back to the lake, you've got a skater, you want to be involved in some cool stuff again. It's just meant to be." And I said, once you say that, what do you say? And I told him, the only reason I'm taking it is because they started a Bob Morgan scholarship fund for local high school kids. And I just wanted to be able to say a few things about that. So the Lake of the Ozarks Marine Dealers Association picks 1 or 2 kids every year, and it's a tiered scholarship. I think they get $3,000 or $4,000. Mike Carnegie of the Lake Marine Dealers kind of runs it, but it's if they graduate from high school, from college, they get a little bit of money. If they're in the marine industry, they get a little bit more, and then if they come back to work for a Lake of the Ozarks boat dealer, they get the rest of the scholarship. So that's really my main reason for accepting it. I'm not as deserving as probably anybody that's ever been inducted, but I certainly appreciate and I know my dad would appreciate it too. So, I mean, I'd really just like to thank Mark Mawson and Ron for all the work they've done. And if I gave a shout out to anybody, it would be for all the volunteers that really do all the hard work to make all the fast guys look good. I mean, they're really the heart and soul of the whole thing. I'm Rob Morgan, 2021 Bob Morgan Shootout Hall of Famer.